Okay, I've told you, I've met Myron before.
Right.
He, just the same way how in my Instagram videos, I'm this like, I'm talking about things that make me angry and I'm a little more like sure of myself. That's the same way he is on here.
Right.
He's not that guy, actually. He's a quiet, kind of nerdy. I bet you the same thing with Andrew Tate. I bet you Andrew Tate was a nerd as a kid.
Okay, this is Ceci. Welcome, listeners, and this is the Velvet Elvis podcast, where funny people talk about everything and anything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And today I have with me Cole Klayman, a local LA comic.
Living at home, it definitely does take a toll on your dating life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's any woman who put on her vision board that she wants to, take a seat in my race car bed. I don't know if that's what you guys are doing. But you deal with it. But ladies, I'm trying to figure you guys out, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. I think we admit that. You know what I mean? Like, let me get this straight, okay? A woman won't sleep with you if you live with your parents, but she will sleep with you if you live with your wife? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I'm struggling, okay?
What's up, Cole?
What's up? You are a natural, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I love the name. You didn't tell me the Velvet Elvis part.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, it's an homage to my friends in Chicago, because we used to hang out at this party house that was called the Velvet Elvis, because it had a massive Elvis velvet carpet out front.
Right.
So it's a little homage.
And you're from Chicago.
Yeah. No, you're from LA.
I'm from LA. Yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts?
I was born and raised in Silver Lake.
Oh, no shit. Mm-hmm. So you're local.
I guess, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've never, it's rare that I meet people that actually grew up here.
That's what everybody says.
The ones I meet, though, not to cut you off, they're always the ones that grew up in Calabasas or kids I would naturally hate.
Why would you leave that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true for sure.
But that was the thing that was so funny when I, started getting into this whole world, is that everybody's from somewhere else. So they had to take a leap and be like, I'm gonna, go to LA and chase my dreams. Mine was no, I want to go home. I don't want to go out.
Oh.
And this is where I grew up. So this just happened to be
no shit.
Home. So it's kind of the opposite mindset.
Totally.
Than most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing the same thing. So I don't know. But
so then what got you into stand-up? Because I always hear you say everyone usually has a traumatic story, but I don't. So, or you don't, I mean.
Well, yeah, I guess it all comes down to how you perceive stuff.
Yeah.
So the same situation can happen to two people and they interpret it completely differently. I always think I was on the sensitive side, so I think things probably affected it. There you go.
Yeah.
Not grammar, but everything else affected me a little more than other people, even in the sports world.
Okay.
They were a little naturally more callous than me.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of reaction to the world maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
made
yeah.
me do it. People always say it's it's dark, it's trauma. And there is that, but I view it like you're trying to bring light to it.
Right.
This is the optimistic view on the world.
I totally agree.
And that thought point of they're all depressed. Or it's actually, I think it's almost the opposite. Some of them are.
Right.
But I actually think these are people who are looking for the positive in things.
You're totally right, because I started it just 10 months ago because I fell into a depression, but it was to get me out of it.
Right.
To get to the light side of shit, basically, right? To make light of it. Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that, actually.
And everything that happens to you once you start doing comedy either is a good day and it's great, or it's material.
Right. Exactly.
So it's everything is a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel very lucky to be able to do that, because for most people, a bad day is just a shitty day.
Yeah, that's true.
They have to just, there's no
You're
utility.
so right, because anytime something happens, I'm putting it in a set.
Right.
Yep.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win. I like that. That's a good attitude, dude. Okay. Now I'm just going to get into tea real quick, right? I just want to dive in for a second. And we'll not talk about it long, but the Ian Ira Russo of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
What the fuck? So for those who don't know, Ian Ira Russo is, I'm going to talk shit, I don't care, just so you know, is a local LA comic. He's like the most well-known unknown. And he recently assaulted a girl at an open mic because she made him look, or he thought she made him look bad in her documentary Fourth Wall, which you can watch on YouTube. And so he hit her over the head with a metal water bottle, and then when he took off, comics were chasing him. He sideswiped multiple cars on his way out. Still hasn't been arrested.
Yeah. I want to say this first and foremost. Obviously, I saw the video. Reprehensible.
Wait, I didn't see the video.
No, the video's out. Yeah.
Oh, I have to see
saw
this.
it. And look,
We'll look it up.
I feel, weird talking about it because even though I've seen the video, I don't know everything. But what I do know is he was moving. You'll see it. Athlete. Moving.
Where do we watch it? Is it on?
It's on. Yeah, someone had it. Someone had it. I'll show it to you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, he was moving. I mean.
Listen, dude.
I don't know what to say. It's like,
I think that people. Okay, so the first time I ever heard or saw Ian was when I was at Deaf Noodles and he was on stage, and I literally out loud accidentally was like, what the fuck is happening? Because
Right.
And then, you get to meet him or talk to him, whatever. And personally, I always thought he was just a fucking weirdo. And I get that he's on the spectrum, which is why I think a lot of people don't want to talk shit necessarily, right? Because it's like punching down, but it's really not, okay?
Right.
I don't think it is because no.
Yeah. Not good. I mean, and again, I'm in this game for a year and a half. Like, I don't have any right to speak.
I thought you were in it longer.
No, I'm not. So I don't have any right to speak on somebody or even Teresa's her name, right? I've done a show before with Teresa. She's very nice.
Yeah.
She's very funny.
Yeah.
I hope she's okay. This is obviously a traumatic thing. But here's the question that I have. Because everybody's like, he can't go to this, he can't go to that, he can't. Sure, I agree with you. You got to go on timeout. You can't hit someone in the head with a steel water bottle and not go on timeout.
Totally.
But we are in the wild, wild west of careers. There's no HR.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no like, oh, you need to be in trouble. Like, the only thing stopping him from going to open mics or anything is someone like me punching him in the face.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like
we hold each other accountable a little bit.
He can't do this. It's like, well, who's going to hold anyone accountable? This is stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
This is like, this is where you go if you don't want.
That's true.
The organizational structure that can hold someone accountable.
That's true.
You can only get canceled if you have a fan base, which unfortunately he does not.
Correct.
So it's like, I don't know what you. I mean, I guess it's kind of. And I don't know why I feel bad about this because I would never hit a woman. Yeah,
totally.
So it's like, it's not something that I guess may bite me in the ass later, although I don't know. But I think it's starting to turn where he needs to go on timeout, dude.
Right.
You got to go on timeout. And the good thing about it is this is not his livelihood. This is not the way he makes money.
Right.
So he can still make money outside of this. And I don't know how the legal thing works. I don't know if he goes to jail. I
don't know how that works either.
I think something's got to happen.
All right. Enough of that.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted your thoughts on it because it's fucking nuts.
Right.
It's kind of nuts. But I've also dealt with weirdos at open mics. Like, no one's hit me, but I remember, again, outside Deaf Noodles, which fuck that place.
Right.
I was banned from there twice.
Right. And homeless people would perform there, so that's quite a feat.
Anyway, so outside Deaf Noodles after a mic, Chris Kim, which normally I wouldn't name names, but like I don't give a shit.
Right.
But outside a mic, he like cornered me and was like, "You should teach me a sex class." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I was like, what the fuck? And then I tried to like walk away and he like would not let me get out, and he was just like kept talking about a sex class. I was like, all right, dude.
I would be so terrified as a woman in stand-up. I would be very afraid.
Accidental Chaos?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I was mentioning to a comic, oh yeah, I'm going to go check it out. I've heard, good things or whatever. 3 different male comics, 3 separate times, said to me, but if you go there, I wouldn't go alone.
Yeah, it's a frat house.
Exactly. But here's the thing, right? I'm not that kind of girl that you have to, but I get it. So I went alone the next day, and that was my initial thought. I go, oh yeah, because it's a frat. Like, I'll cover my drink here. But like, it felt fine. I was having a good time, you know. Right. I didn't feel any, but I get the fratty vibe.
I don't know what show you saw there.
I went to the open mic on Thursdays.
I've never gone to an open mic. I've only seen one show there, and it's one of my favorite shows. It's Idiots United with Mario Rodriguez.
Okay.
And my buddy Jerry Bastardo Gerardo. It's so much fun. Like they've got music, they're throwing beer cans. Like it's an insane thing, but it's very fun to be in that tight little box.
Totally.
And and Mario's brilliantly funny, and all the comics they have are
like I had a fine experience, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But it's very out of control.
Yeah, it's crap. But that's cool. It's whatever. I mean, there's different, so you don't go, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so many stages here. We're lucky that you can kind of pick and choose. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have, like, we're not forced to go to that one. You know, there's so many options, luckily. Also, what did I want to ask here? Okay. You produce shows.
Yeah.
I was on one of your shows. So can you give me a story of like a really good show or a good experience? Like something you remember that, you know what I mean? Like
from producing or from
comedy, like an experience you had in this world that in the last year and a half that you were like.
Well, I think this is good advice, particularly in a place like LA where it's so hard to get stage time, is go to your friends' shows and go to shows that you don't know anybody and just go to support. Yeah. Because like, I don't know if you believe in karma or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I do.
It's good to do that.
Yeah.
I would want someone to do that for me. But also, when you show up, people drop out. It's comedians. I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. They look at you and they go, hey, you want to do some time?
That's true.
And one of the best recorded sets that I've done, which was at my buddy Max Ozer, who you know, maybe not, he's very funny, and he produces a show called Comedy Jamwich, which is a phenomenal show. And I liked going to it because the way he ran it was great. Mm-hmm. And I went, and the headliner couldn't do it. And he goes, hey, you want to do 7?
Nice.
And then he looked at the crowd and then looked at me. He's like, can you actually do 5? It was in Silver Lake. He's like, don't do that one joke. I'm like, no. I think they'll like it. I think they'll like it. So then I went up and did it, and it was great. And it was recorded, which, you know, is like incredibly valuable to have.
Yeah, it is.
So that was kind of a moment that was like, oh, okay, I can kind of do this a little bit, you know, and I have a long way to go.
Right. But honestly, like, I thought you'd been doing it much longer than a year and a half. So says a lot.
I have been doing the video stuff for like 10 years.
Okay.
But it started on Snapchat, and then it kind of progressed, and now it's on Instagram, and hopefully becomes a podcast.
Yeah.
But I have been doing that. I didn't understand joke structure or any of that stuff, but like I had been doing something adjacent to it.
Right. Something related. Okay. Yeah. I just jumped right in. I was sitting on my couch and I wrote something I thought was funny, and then I was in a depression. So I was like, what do I do? So I just looked up an open mic, and my first one was at the Lyric Hyperion in Silver Lake.
Really? I haven't done that one.
Yeah, on a Monday night. And it was funny because I literally knew nothing. I show up and I was signing up, and the comics were like, yeah, it's a bucket pool. And I was like, what's that? They're like, well, you know, you'll see if you get on. And I was like, what? You know? And but they put the list out first, obviously. But I remember telling the girl, I'm like, can you just put my name aside? I need to do this today. Right. I told her, I'm like, my balls have dropped. Like, it has to happen now, you know? Right. And luckily, there was only, out of 50 comics, 2 girls. So
They had to.
Exactly. You got to balance it out a little, as much as you can anyway. So I did get to go on, and it went fine. Like, there were 2 times that I remember going, fuck, what's the rest of this joke? You know what I mean? But outside of that, it went fine. You know, like, it made me feel better. So I did it the next week. And then the next week, and that turned into, you know.
God, I remember being so scared to do open mics.
I have to be honest with you, anytime I get on stage, I'm still fucking scared.
Yeah, I mean, I get, open mics is a little less, especially with friends and things. But shows, you definitely, and I think you want a little bit of that. You want to, you want to be like 50% nervous. You don't want 100. You don't want like 0.
Yeah.
Because then you don't care.
That's
You want
true.
like in the middle somewhere where you're aware and you're,
Yeah, that's true.
You're ready to perform, but you're not so nervous to where like the first time you ever did it.
See, I need to get more comfortable though in the way of like riffing, and also my stuff is, I write constantly and my shit is like timed to the second, like, so I have to get away from like being scripted, you know what I mean? Like I don't sound like it when I'm doing it, but it fucking is, it's been memorized like word for word.
I was the same way when I started, and that's rare. Most people don't do that. Most people have like key words and they talk around it and then they get to the punchline, which I'm starting to try to do more. But yeah, I still do this. I still type everything out. Yeah. And then people are like, you type? I'm like,
I can't type. I have to do it handwritten.
What do you do? Well, the handwriting feels better. It's more.
It helps me to also memorize it.
It's true, yeah.
Because I'll rewrite a set like 6 fucking times. Really? Like my hands hurt, but like it just is helpful for me.
Yeah. I find, that works, and then saying it out loud.
And then I'll record it. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'll listen to it.
But again, people will tell you that's wrong. They're like, you got to be in the It's like, yeah, but you got to know where the bases are. Right. So then you can play around.
You don't want to get too off track where you like lose the set. Right. Yeah, but I definitely need to get a little more laxed, a little looser on stage.
Have you done improv before?
No. I did improv once when I was like 18 at Second City for a bit.
Chicago's like the mecca for
improv.
I've never done it, but I know a lot of people there have.
Yeah, I was at Second City when I was 18 for like a second. And I'm sure that would help, but I don't know if I don't have improv energy.
See, you have the aesthetic of an improv chick.
I do?
Maybe.
What is the aesthetic of an improv chick? I don't.
It's artsy and, fun. And, Yeah. Okay. Inviting. But
okay, I'll take it. Yeah. I was like, whoa, that could mean a lot of things. Yeah, okay. But I'm just not, I don't know. I mean, I'm a team player. Right. But I don't know. Not for me. Yeah. What about you? Improv.
I think I should do it just as a training.
You would be good at it.
I don't know if I would.
I think you would. I feel like you're good at like just taking something and running.
Maybe. I mean, definitely a strength to work on.
Oh, that's another reason I wanted to have you on too, because, I watch your stories every day and I just love your fucking rants.
Oh, thanks.
I really do.
I never know how people are going to react.
I was going to ask you, do people like comment or like have you caught in like flack from it or?
I haven't seen really any of the, which is okay. Like, just you don't have to watch it. Right. Like that's totally fine. It's for the people who like it. Yeah. It is a little weird when people meet me in person.
Did you want a straw?
I'm okay. No, thanks. Yeah, that's where I'm drawing the line. And they're like, oh, he's kind of not like that. But that's where you get the anger out. It's when you're alone and I can talk about the things that piss me off. Right. And kind of long form rant, and maybe there's a bit that comes out of it or something. And I talk about things that are a little divisive at times, but I don't know. I just feel like if you're talking about what you want to talk about, that's where the best stuff is going to come from. If you're trying to be funny or you're trying to be something and you're not being honest, not only does the audience sense it, but you're not actually getting any of the catharsis that comes from this art form. So why are you even doing it?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not real. So.
That's one thing. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I get disappointed when like a comic is telling you a story and then you find out later it's not real. You're like, oh, yeah, it's not funny.
And we all lie.
I don't know why. Yeah, you exaggerate maybe a little bit or whatever, but I think the truth is always funnier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funnier because it's true. Okay, so we have the election coming up.
Oh, fuck.
We don't have to talk about it for long.
No, it's okay. I'll talk about it. But
I figured you would. Yeah, I was like, this motherfucker definitely has opinions.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay, so.
I'd love to never work in Hollywood ever.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
What, yeah, right. What, okay, so are you going to vote?
Yes.
Okay, and you're voting For
Oh no, I'm undecided.
okay, that's just it.
I'm undecided. I don't know. I need one more debate before I know.
Exactly, dude. Do you know how many open mics I've been to recently where a lot of the comics go up there and they're literally like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Nothing is what you're going to do, yeah.
You know what? Please do nothing.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
That I agree with you on. Like these ads where it's like, get out and vote. Get everyone. It's like, no. If someone's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, don't make that person vote.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah. A lot of idiots voting.
Well, it's not even idiots. They just,
indecisive.
I don't know anything about Scandalval.
Yeah, no.
If someone made me vote on that, I'd be like, I don't know who's wrong.
Right,
Is it Raquel? Is it apparently I have
Is it Adriana?
Yeah, I mean that bitch.
Or Ariana?
No, I don't know. But I wouldn't, so it's like,
yeah.
And that's way more entertaining. I mean, maybe not now, but then politics. So it's like, don't make people do something they don't know about.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, what's your, like, voting? We all have a voting issue that drives our decision making more. So what's your, like, voting issue?
My voting issue is, look, I don't want the republic to collapse. I very much like having running water and living here. And I feel like incredibly lucky to be an American.
Yeah.
But the overreach of the, namely federal government that we've experienced, it's been longer, but we really experienced it starting in 2020.
Yeah.
Was something that made me really, really uncomfortable, and something that typically when people take power, they don't relinquish it, they don't give it back. And look, I think Donald Trump is a reprehensible human being oftentimes. But I think the weaponization of the Justice Department against him with certain things that they wouldn't hold their people accountable for if they had done the same thing, that's scary.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with that. And
agreed.
As somebody who, it's so weird because the parties are very much flipped. They still have, a lot of their core values that they've maintained, but a lot of it has flipped. Like traditionally, the right was supportive of big corporations. They were the ones who gave those guys tax breaks. Now you've got this wing who's like Robert F. Kennedy, who was the guy I actually liked, and I said something about it, and everyone hated me. I said, I actually like this guy. I don't think he's crazy. He has some things, but I don't think he's crazy. And everyone, the Trumpers and the Kamala Biden people, all hated me. And I'm like, this isn't a good decision for my brand or whatever the fuck. So I had to take. I never take shit down, but I was like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
But yeah, I think big anything, big tech, big pharma. A lot of those things, there's a lot of good that comes from them, but when you have too much power,
it
corrupts. And I think the way we handled things was not ideal.
Yeah.
And it was a bit more sinister than what some people think. I don't think that everyone controls everything and there's this big conspiracy, but I do think we were and have always been lied to, and that's kind of a necessity of government. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but we were lied to on a scale that was unprecedented
100%.
in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So with that being said, I'm voting for Kamala.
Yes, that's good. No, for me, obviously, it's Roe v. Wade.
Which I was talking to my mom about this last night, and I said, everything that I have believed and everything I said, if I was a woman who was my age, 27-year-old woman, I'm probably voting for Kamala because of that.
Yeah.
That's such a big issue.
Huge.
That it's like, even all this other stuff I believe, because most people are one-issue voters, that might be the one issue. Like, it's so ridiculous to me. And it's a slippery slope, I think. Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we got away with getting rid of that. What else can we get to next? Right. Like I always tell my gays, I'm like, they are going to come for your, right to marry eventually if they could. The only reason they didn't do it first is because it's men. Right. Still. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely easier to oppress us, I suppose. That's fucked up. Suppress us
women.
Women, gotcha.
Yeah. That's my number one, is just Roe v. Wade. And when it happened, I fucking lost it. My friend called me at like 7 a.m. and he's never up that early. So I was like, something happened. So I pick up and I'm like, what's wrong? And he just goes, they did it. And I immediately knew what he meant. I turned on the TV. I was like, in my world, I just didn't expect to feel as fucked up as I did. I immediately called my therapist. I was like, I need to fucking talk to you. And I like went in, and after our visit, he wrote an article for the LA Times about our session. But he changed my name to Cassie. And
he's a writer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
or a journalist, rather.
Yeah. What was interesting is that when I called him, apparently, he didn't put two and two together. Like, he thought, oh, when she called me, I thought she had a relationship setback, which I'm never in one, so I don't know. Right. But when I showed up, he realized, oh, because of Roe, like, he was like, that was my first lack of empathy. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even connect it.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting. And then I was on the Dr. Phil show. For it.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I have a set that I do
Phil
about
McGraw?
it. Ooh, what?
You were on the show.
The Dr. Phil show.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
I do hair, and my client's the executive producer. So she came to me and she's like, "Yeah, we're doing an episode on Roe v. Wade being overturned, and we really want you on the show." And I was like, "Are you sure?"
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
So I went and did it, and it was like 6-hour taping. They did split it into 2 episodes. And so there were pro-choice people. I was obviously advocating for pro-choice, and I was going up against pro-life people. And backstage, dude, one of the, I'm getting mic'd up, and there was this other woman getting mic'd up, and we didn't know who each other were at that point. And then the producers, this was 2 years ago, so they asked us to put our masks on while we were backstage. And I was like, sure. And she was like, oh, I don't have one. So when they went to get her one, I know what you're thinking. When they went to get her one, she turned to me and she goes, I feel like the Chinese should be paying us reparations for this.
That's right, yeah.
I looked at her and I was like, oh, so you support reparations. That's great.
Right.
Yeah, like
that's a great comeback.
We immediately knew who each other were.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't putting that mask on.
No, she fucking wasn't.
Right.
And she was definitely not going to let me have my abortion.
Right.
Yeah, it was wild.
I understand some people, but here's the thing I don't understand is there's a lot of flack that men are it's like, yeah, I totally get it. We never have to experience that. But I don't know many guys who want this either.
Right.
I don't know any guys who are fighting for this. I mean, I know there are, but I don't know many of them.
Can I tell you, I find more pro-life men being loud about it than pro-choice men. Like, I just feel, I'm not saying there's more that support it. I'm just saying they're louder about it. Like, I don't know a lot of straight guys that are like, they're not with me at my march. You know what I mean?
It's not it's nothing we'll ever
Right, but it's like, but you get to make the decision about it. So, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I tell my gays and stuff, I told them one day, I was like, I'm disappointed because it's only women at these marches, but, like, I marched for BLM, I march for gay rights. I'm not black or gay, but I'm a human, so I fucking show up for you. Right. So, like, show up for me, Here's
the other thing I don't understand, and I should. How does the state level voting work on this? Because they're like, leave it up to the states, Are we voting on this every year? Like, where's the vote? I don't understand. And maybe I missed something, but...
Now, that is a really good point, because as far as, like, the terms, like, is it every year? Is it every 5? Or is this just a one and done?
Yeah, because that seems crazy.
Well, yeah.
Like, have they voted
on it?
I
wonder if it would be like, okay, so, for instance, you vote your senator or congressman in, you vote for pro-life, whatever. And then I wonder if it goes with the next representative, if they bring up overturning it in their own state, if they would then re-vote on it. You know what I mean? Like they would at a presidential level.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody thinks abortion is good.
No. Nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that. Like, other than, I don't know. I don't know who would want to do that. One of the major issues I have is that the right, or the people who are, I guess, pro not abortion. I don't know if pro life is the way to describe it.
I know.
Pro like
anti-choice.
never, ever, ever have a choice. Right. they don't use the same logic they use on guns for abortion, right? Because with guns, they go, well, you can outlaw them, but the bad guys are still. I don't know why. Let me do the Southern.
Can't do it.
I don't know what. Just the bad guys are gonna get them regardless. So why can't? It's like, yeah, okay, I don't want to ban guns, but like,
same.
If Texas and Oklahoma have outlawed abortion, what makes you think they're not going to go get one where it is legal? And now you're making it more dangerous. It's so dumb.
Exactly.
It's so dumb. Like, put a restriction. Like, make it reasonable. You know?
Exactly.
Like, there's got to be a date where it's like,
sure,
that's ridiculous after that. But.
And that's kind of already been in place, though, for 50 years. Like, we did have terms unless it was a medical emergency.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was already in play. So, I mean, they're just backsliding. But the pro-life and pro-gun type person, my friend Jack and I were talking about it. And, you know, I told him, I was like, it's fucking backwards thinking. Like, I mean, don't tell me how to kill my kid. I'm not telling you how to kill yours, you know? And my friend Jack was like, well, you know, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And I was like, right. So we should have less people.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go. Right.
Fuck?
There you go. But,
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, it was just like, oh, they're so, I don't know, whatever. They're backwards as fuck to me. Okay.
I mean, that's such a...
Because I'm not anti-gun. Like, I go shooting with my dad and my brother. Like, guns are fun. I hate to say it. Like, but, like, shooting anything is fun. Like, if it was a bow and arrow, if it was an axe, just throwing something into a bucket to see if you get it. Like, aiming is fun, right? So, it's just...
And I think this is the Roe v. Wade thing, namely, is such a big issue. If it wasn't an issue, I don't think the election would be close. I think there's so many people who would not get up to go vote for Kamala Harris if this was not an issue.
I think you're right. And I think a lot of the times they leave it on the table open to be an issue. Like they obviously did, like Obama could have put it into...
I said something like that. I think I was like kind of wrong, which is like a lot. I'm wrong a lot. There was something about they didn't have the majority to
they didn't.
do
That's
it.
just it, though. Is they didn't have the House and Senate, so they couldn't pass it. But I don't know if it ever went across the table. Like I don't know that much about that year, but I feel like with a lot of things they want to put a Band-Aid and not just like solve it, because then they have something to run on the next time.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Just like with the border thing that's going on is like now. It was at the 11th hour that the Democrats were like, we need to do something about the border. I know we said it's racist to have a border, but people don't like it when people are coming over. Like, let's actually do something.
Right.
So now the Republicans are stalling because they're like, no, fuck you guys. You guys had all this time to do something you didn't. Now you want to do it. We're gonna let millions of people come in because we want to win and then have it be our
win.
Our win.
Well, that's just it, because while Biden has been president, there was a bipartisan bill that was written by both Democrat and Republicans that they could have passed, that they all actually did agree on. But then Trump told them all, don't do it. Don't do it, because they'll think it's Biden's win. But at the end of the day, like, it's not Biden's win because he doesn't make the fucking final decision. You know what I mean? Like, they just need an issue to continue on.
It's a functionally broken system.
Yeah, it's like a functioning junkie.
Maybe better than the rest. I don't know. I haven't lived anywhere else. I love living here, though. I want to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think whatever force every single day that I'm in a place where I can do comedy as a job.
That's true.
Like, incredibly lucky, so I don't ever want to not acknowledge that.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Like, I have,
See, for the first time ever, like, I remember the summer they overturned Roe v. Wade. I remember the 4th of July came up, and I was just like, and 4th of July is my shit. I love the 4th. Yeah. I do. I love fireworks, hot dog. Like, I'm all American, right? But that was the first year that I was like, I hate this country. Like,
This was last year?
This was 2 years ago when they first overturned Roe v. Wade. Yeah. Like, that first summer.
Well, that's a natural reaction.
Totally. But even now, I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I'm not a whole human anymore in the eyes of the law. So there's that.
Oh. Yeah.
And to some...
Well, we do.
Actually, okay, we can move... Well, I wanted to ask you really quickly, and then we'll go to the incel movement and watch a couple of clips.
Awesome.
You sound really excited.
Yeah.
Wait, talk about... Yeah, I was going to ask if you are.
An incel? fuck me.
I know you're not, but like, no.
Kind of, yeah. We'll get to it.
Very involuntary incel.
It's halfway voluntary, halfway involuntary.
But really quick before we go to that, I wanted to ask you about your opinion on Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. You know, at first, I really liked what he was doing with Twitter. I thought the fact that he was overpaying to like preserve a place, you know, regardless of what you believe as a comedian, like it's very important to us to not have censor. You got to try to swing the bat and fail sometimes, and have stuff that, you know, is maybe a little.
Are you not drinking that because it's tap water?
No, I didn't know it was.
Okay.
No, I just drank a lot of water before I got here.
Okay, just making
And I'm
sure.
just talking a lot.
Okay.
But then he just started doing silly shit. Like, I can't stand the Cybertruck.
Oh my God, that thing is awful.
It's
It looks
hideous.
like it's downloading still. It's a pixel.
Yeah. It looks like PlayStation 2 graphics. Just flying by.
Yeah, totally.
Bitcoin the car. But yeah, and it's very clear that he wants to be a celebrity now.
Yeah.
And he's not charismatic. He's not someone like that. So he's an autistic guy, you know? So I feel bad a little bit.
By the way, I find that his Asperger's is the only thing that keeps him slightly like redeeming, or like when he was on SNL, I was like, oh, this works, right?
Yeah, it was like kind of hilarious. You're
right,
like, this is not funny conventionally, but
right.
Yeah.
It's the only thing for me that like I don't know, saves his personality a little bit.
yeah, but he's
That says something.
yeah, he's a bit of an oddball. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody who you like ends up becoming, you know, we'll become that eventually. We'll become people who right now we would look at and go, that guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, that'll happen. And you look back at yourself 5 years ago and you're like, I was a moron.
Oh my God, dude. I look at for me, it was like when I was your age, 10 years ago, I was a fucking insane person. Yeah. In my 20s, I was nuts. Like I partied.
Yeah.
Like I partied. It was the only thing, I've never done coke though.
Good.
Which a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them that.
Yeah.
But I'm Cuban, so I don't need coke, I guess. Like
Yeah, you guys run
yeah, exactly. But
cafecito.
right, exactly. But no, I was such a fucking party kid, and when I look back at my 20s, honestly, the fact that I'm not dead or in prison, and I know a lot of people say that, is kind of legit.
But you got it out.
But that's just it. Is like I don't regret any of it. Like I had a good, you know how they say like, oh, youth is wasted on the young. My shit was not wasted.
Right,
I knew I was young and better do this now kind of thing.
Well, good, yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky. I mean, I started when I was young, but I was like, fuck me. I was like, I don't have
so much.
I was like, I don't have.
That Keith?
I like ran out of weed, so I was like, oh, I have my jar of Keith that I've been saving. So
Jupiter.
no, actually, I've been smoking it. It's okay. Fuck, hold this for a second. Okay, what kind of teenager were you? I'm so curious.
I was a sports kid.
Okay.
Like quarterback of the football team. Like
I grew up playing sports too.
Yeah. Pretty quiet actually. I think a lot of people were surprised when I started doing, not all of them, not my close friends, but a lot of people who knew me maybe more at a distance were probably very surprised when I started doing this, because I was never someone who really ruffled
took the spotlight.
Feathers.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I just was someone who did things the right way. I was never like a black sheep, like doing crazy shit kid, whatever. Right. Not that those are bad kids, but I was never, I was more cautious.
Right.
I was always like, I don't know, you know, so it's interesting. And this, I think, is related to that because you now have the microphone and it's your time to speak.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So it like opens it up for people who are naturally a little more introverted to actually say the things that they want to say. And I find that the quieter, introverted people often are the most insightful because they're watching. You're not learning if you're talking.
That's true.
Which is ironic for me to say, but
I was going to say that's one thing I need to work on is listening.
But I always like being around people who are comfortable comfortable and talk. Because,
well, it's just, I mean, I hate when I don't want to be the only one asking questions. I don't want to pull teeth to get something out of somebody. So sometimes I feel like I'll take a combo and kind of run a little more with it because I'm trying to keep it moving.
No, but that's I love people like that. Like that, if it was just me's walking around, life would be kind of really boring. Seriously, like I think on the spectrum of things, I'm in the bottom 20% of people, like of number of words said per day.
Oh.
I don't actually say a lot of words. The words I do say.
You use them all at the end of the day for your rants.
Literally. I like kind of just going through, not really, doing my thing. Like I hang out with my friends and then you can kind of let loose a little bit. But I'm not a big talker.
Yeah.
Really. Like I would hang out with my grandfather when I was a kid, and he was the same way. And we would just spend the whole day like not talking, but like with a good friend where you don't have to talk.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed spending time with him for that reason. But I always like people like yourself who are more outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a good balance, I think.
That's true. It is a good balance. Yeah, that's important to have too. Because I've dated guy. Actually, I started dating a guy last year. And it definitely was like, this isn't going to work because we both talk way too fucking much.
Right.
And it was like fighting to get into a conversation because I wasn't very good at listening and neither was he. But yeah, you need that balance for fucking sure. Okay. The incel movement.
The incel movement.
I really want to talk about this if you don't mind.
No, please do. I think it's something that needs to be talked about.
I want to get the opinion of a straight white dude who you're attractive. So it's not like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I was interviewing right now, some sloppy loser, I'd be like, well, yeah, you're could be an incel and you're going to, I don't know. Right. You're not like what I would expect an incel to be. And I'm not saying you are.
Incel, right.
I'm just asking your opinion on it.
Let me start here. I think this kind of became, this sector of the population kind of became more well known when a guy named Andrew Tate started becoming a celebrity, a household name. I want to get out and say this. He's a very smart guy who says things that I disagree with, but says a lot of things I do agree with. Okay? The modern climate for men in Western culture can be a little prickly at times. And I think it's a little harder to know what women want because of what men are told. That part I think is true. I also think women are making more money and are more educated than men now, which just evolutionarily, women are attracted to men who aren't on their level or above financially. Doesn't mean you don't date someone who makes less money than you. But there's a respect level that most women have to have for someone that they really care about in a romantic relationship and are like, I'm physically attracted to this guy.
Right.
You can love somebody, but like he's a weenie. He's I don't respect him. Now, I think rather than working on yourself, because I always say this, everything that men hate about women is the fault of men. It's not the fault of women. Okay, we allow whatever we allow. Right. Women do whatever they need to do, and we create, and vice versa. Right? Women say, I want a guy like this, but in reality, they tend to, spend more time with guys who are a little bit more alpha, maybe not the most kind, generous, like that's kind of what we notice. So you create what you allow. Okay. I feel. But a lot of these guys, rather than working on themselves, have decided to, which is a natural human thing. It's much easier to point the finger.
I was going to say they want to place blame somewhere.
Women. But the truth is we're different, men and women.
Yeah.
But we could have been the other one very easily we're the same thing, just different sides of the coin. We're the same coin, just different sides of it.
All right. When you say different sides of it, do you mean like women being...
Or for sure tails. No, I'm kidding. No. What do you mean?
Okay. When you say the flip side of the coin, though, do you mean that women would be in the role of men and that?
No,
I'm
saying men always go like, women are dumb. Women can't do this. It's like, they're not like a different species.
Right, yeah.
They're not like evil.
Right.
They're just doing what they need to do.
Well,
just
we're
the same way
navigating through the world that men have set up for us right now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the patriarchy, which sometimes I hate using phrases like that because they're so overly used, but that's what it is the patriarchy.
Right.
And so women are just navigating through it. You know what I mean? And we all have to do different things to navigate our life. You know what I mean?
Right.
With the incel thing, because, and we'll watch a real quick one of Myron from Fresh and Fit, who is a fucking pussy. He hates it so much he became it. That, seriously. But they like think they're like help for men. But I feel like all the time what men are doing is like creating their own problems where they will tell their friends like that are being like vulnerable, like, oh, you're fucking gay, or oh, you're being and it's like, dude, you can break your own construct, because it's really, I've never heard a girl be like, oh yeah, he cried about that, what a puss. Like, that's not our thought process really at all. And then I feel like they're making men feel like you're not good enough instead of building them up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're putting them down almost.
Yeah, I think there's a way. Like it's
incels, I feel like, are self-loathing most of the time.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No. Nobody who's crushing puss is
no, but not even crushing puss though. Let's say you're not crushing puss, but I know plenty of guys that aren't self-loathing. Like, they think they're good looking, or they know that they're smart or whatever. Right. Like, so many of them, oh, they're never gonna want me because of this. And it's like, but if you think that, then work on that. Right.
I agree. Yeah, your confidence comes from accomplishing hard things, so you gotta do that. But I do think most young men need to be told, like, hey, you're not there yet. Like, you need to work on yourself.
Right.
That, I think, and that doesn't have to necessarily be in a self-loathing way where you're like, you're not shit, you're never going to be. No, it's like, you could be shit, but you're not right now, but you could be.
Right.
That, I think, is positive.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't necessarily think, like, I'm starting to do the therapy thing, and I'll find my way and see kind of what works for me, and I'm sure it's beneficial. But I think sometimes young men need a kick in the ass, I think.
Totally.
And in this case, it's like, dude, go and do something about it. And I can assure you, getting on Sneeko's live stream is not going to help you.
Right.
With women. It's just not.
Right.
Because they're not what you think they are, because you don't know any of them.
And the other thing too is that I feel like a lot of these, speakers on behalf of incels, the ones that have more of a platform, like I said, that I feel like they're making men feel like they're not good enough. I had a thought, and I forgot it because I'm stoned.
It's okay.
I'm trying to remember. But Myron drives me fucking nuts because I feel like he needs women to have less value so that the man can feel more valuable. And he's always like, yeah. Actually, I'll show you a clip really quick. Yeah. That I was like, dude. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is that they always are almost speaking on behalf of women. Well, women want this. Women want that. And it's like, some.
Right.
Some, like they're always like, oh, men want a woman who's submissive. And I'm like, some guys don't, though.
I don't. I mean,
like, do you want to have a perpetual 2-year-old you have to fucking take care of?
I know, but I know some guys who like that, but I know for me it was like always, why would I have a long-term relationship with someone if she's not bringing anything? I've always liked that. I've always liked the, partnership thing. And that doesn't mean I don't like sexual variety too, even though I don't get any of it. But
I was going to ask, so you're single.
Yeah. And I live at home with my parents and I have no money. So that, and I, mentally, I'm sure, sabotage myself.
Do they still live in Silver Lake?
They do.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Are you in the house that you grew up in?
I sure am.
That's kind of cool, though.
It's nice. I love my parents. So yeah.
Okay, but you're not like, but I mean, you gotta get some puss. You're cute.
I
and you're
guess.
funny.
I mean, I'm not like rolling in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatevs. Okay, so this.
Women be prepared to share.
Okay. Ah, okay.
If a woman wants a guy that's higher status, higher earning, etc., you got to be prepared to share him, which means he's gonna other. That's like the biggest thing that girls can't get over. But that comes back to that delusion. You're telling me you're an average-looking girl and you think you deserve a top-shelf guy and he's gonna be monogamous to you? That's ridiculous. Guys don't go ahead and conquer the world and make all this money and get in shape when that's ridiculous. And I tell girls all the time, I'm never gonna be monogamous. I didn't like become a multi-millionaire. That's stupid.
Okay, I've told you, I've met Myron before.
Right.
He, just the same way how in my Instagram videos, I'm this like, you know, I'm talking about things that make me angry and I'm a little more like sure of myself. That's the same way he is on here.
Right.
He's not that guy, actually. He's a quiet, kind of nerdy. I bet you the same thing with Andrew Tate. I bet you Andrew Tate was a nerd as a kid. Like a dorky, skinny, little glasses kid, and made himself into this, which is partly commendable that he's able to do that. But they're not who you think they are. That's number one. Number two, I think that's like just funny from a comedy level. And I had a joke that I was kicking around about that, where I was like, you need one woman who's like mentally sane and great and you love her and you respect her, and then you need one woman who is out of her mind.
I've heard you do this joke.
Yeah,
it's great.
And you need to stay with her most of the time, but you do need like a little bit of that crazy girl.
So then I have a question for you, because I was thinking about this recently. All right. Is it possible that sometimes men, they don't, you know how like the crazy girl, you're going to fuck her and la la la, right? Is it because men don't want to do that to their wives? Like you can't separate the two in one person? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if your wife was like pornographic in bed, is that going to throw you off in the real world with her?
I don't.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't have no, I totally know what you're saying. And it's something that I actually don't have the answer to. But I don't know. There's just something about a really beautiful woman who is out of her mind. It's kind of like the cat playing with the bird. You're like, I just want to make sure. I just want to see I can catch it. You know, I just want to see I can do it without getting burned or whatever. But you don't want to, like, a lot of guys marry one of the two. Hopefully he marries the one where like maybe their sex life isn't the same as it was, but like she's a good person and like they respect each other. Some guys marry the other one and their life is a fucking nightmare. But they keep going back. It's like an addiction. They keep going back.
But what I'm asking is like, what if you found a girl who is like kind of both? I guess.
I think that's the goal. I think that's the goal. And like,
because you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, basically like if she does something dirty in bed or she lets you disrespect her in bed, will that affect the level of respect you give her outside the bedroom?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I just think it's a rare personality trait to have that. And that's different than like it's not even sexual sometimes. It's just like a woman being insane is very attractive sometimes.
Okay.
And it's not something that any of us are proud of, but it is something that is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're into, you know?
Yeah.
That's why the Latinas are experiencing a real resurgence in recent years.
Thank God.
Yeah. No, they're great. They're fantastic. I love being afraid when I go to sleep. That's great. I like that. Yeah, but I
feel like a lot of my boys go to bed scared. Yeah.
That's good. But I haven't been in enough serious relationships to where I can answer that. I've always wanted to just be with one woman and like be a dad and have a family. Yeah. That's always been on my mind frame. But I also know like I don't want to be one of those people who's like, oh, we're just going to stay together for the kids. Like there's something broken about traditional marriage that we're not addressing because maybe we don't know what it is.
Right.
But there is something I think that the divorce rate is what it is. It's 50%
Yeah.
And the other 50% who stay together, a lot of them aren't happy.
That's true.
So there's something we got to fix. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good question. What is it? Because The other thing is that ties into the whole incel thing a little bit is just the fact that men, and I don't know if this is how you were raised, but like, you know how they're always like, boys don't cry and that kind of shit, where then you all, like my dad is very a tough guy, but he's so tough now that he can't really handle shit. Do you know what I mean? Like if I get emotional, he gets all what the fuck because
does he cry?
He made up. No, really? No, he's so tough that he's cried maybe 3 times in his life. Like he doesn't. So that's why, and I know a lot of men like that. You know what I mean? That are just like, tough. I don't know. Like I feel like if men felt like they could be more open about their feelings or talk to someone, that we would all be better off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And trust me, I know there are guys out there who are exactly what you're describing, and I'm sure your dad's a great guy.
Yeah.
But who are just, they constantly catch themselves, and they're like, and it's probably out of an insecurity thing of like, I don't have it in control, so I need to pretend that I do.
Yeah.
And I need to be strong and tough because I'm actually scared, which everybody's scared. But that doesn't really lead anywhere good long term. And I'm not saying you got to be a little crybaby. Like, I think as a man, when you're in a movie theater, okay, and you're gonna watch a movie and you're gonna cry, your initial reaction should be to fight it.
Right.
I think you should try to catch it, you know. But eventually, you gotta let stuff go sometimes, and you gotta be in front of the right people who will allow you to do that. And these guys always talk about you can't cry in front of your girlfriend.
Right.
I don't know if that's true.
No, that's
I don't know
true.
if that is true.
That's not.
Yeah.
That is so not true. I tell you right now, I mean, it would depend on what you're crying about, obviously.
Right.
Do you know? I mean, just like with a girl, like, what are you crying about? It would depend. Is it spilt milk or is this like a real issue? You know, like, I don't fucking care. I've had boys cry in front of me and it's kind of endearing.
Yeah. Because
it's also like, oh, you're comfortable enough to do that with me, which makes me feel more comfortable with you, right? So I don't know. I think I'm single because everyone else is a scaredy cat. You know what I mean? Like, people really are so guarded, I feel, today. And I also feel like people have such short attention spans, even with humans. Like, they're fickle.
Yeah.
I feel like people are more fickle.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to give attention to, like, one person because, oh, I could miss out on...
Yeah, and that part is true, and I think everybody wants to talk about social media or whatever, but like our attention spans have been fried, and we have access to more people at an arm's reach than we've ever had before. So that makes dating really fucking difficult. It's like, oh, the second this doesn't work out, I've got 5 other options here.
Right.
You know? But
so when's the last time you went on a date? And if you don't want to talk about anything, you can
I'll
tell
talk about
me.
everything. I don't remember. I don't remember the last, like, let's meet here.
Right, like a real
like
date.
I've met girls and then like we've hung out or whatever, but I can't remember. And it's been a long time since
are you on the apps?
Not really.
Okay, neither am I. I don't do that shit. I just can't.
Really. I'm just so like, I wouldn't even know how to go about doing it. It's such a hard thing. Like there's something about a real connection in person that you make with somebody.
Oh, 100%. Like you will. For me personally, I will know more about you in 5 minutes in person than like hours or days of messaging.
Right.
Like I need the tone with that text. Like I'm going to apply my own tone, and sometimes it'll be wrong.
Right.
Most of the time it'll be wrong. And also your facial expressions. But more than that, I tell all my girls, I'm like, the thing about the messaging, I go, is that he now, and she, of course, anyone, has time to think about their response and carve out the perfect response, where in person, it's the immediate.
Right.
Like, oh, this is what you think.
I think I'm, and this is what I would do if I was on the apps, is I would go, hey, can we FaceTime?
Okay.
And maybe that's weird. People are like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, but we can just end it.
Right.
You know, like even before the first date, we should have a conversation via FaceTime. Because I think that's a better way to feel each other out than this. And I'll sit there spending hours trying to think of the funniest thing to say or the best thing to say. I don't know. And I'm also not in a position, just speaking honestly, financially, I'm just not in a position that I would want to be to really seriously date.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
And people always tell me, like, well, you can do, it's like, yeah, but I wouldn't, if I was a girl, I wouldn't want to be with a guy who lives at his parents' house who's got this pipe dream that he isn't making money from. That's not what I would want.
Right.
Is that crazy?
It's not.
I think that's like real.
Yeah, for that's real for some.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's like it depends on the woman that you would want, right? Like it sounds to me like the kind of woman you would want would not want that. This is how I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you're thinking.
I don't know. Maybe if someone sees you and they believe in you and they're like, oh, you're going.
I was gonna say,
you're going somewhere.
That's true because I mean a lot of like. I feel like there's a lot of comics, a lot of celebrities that when they got married to whoever they were with before they made it big, you know what I mean?
I would prefer that.
Right.
I would actually prefer that. And again, I know so much of this is like self-limiting beliefs or whatever. But I would prefer that. But again, my logic of it is I'm trying to get this plane off the ground, and it takes a lot more force to get it off the ground than it does once you're in the air. Right. You know, so I'm trying to put mobilize all of my resources towards getting this plane off of the ground first, and let's get some altitude, and then you can start having a little more fun. And I know people would tell me that's wrong, but in my head, it just makes logical sense.
Sure. Well, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Really.
I don't know if it is working, though. That's the thing. I guess we're all just figuring it out.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, do you listen to podcasts?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What kind of podcast are you into? Do you listen to like or true crime?
No. I don't understand that at all. I can't watch scary movies. I watched Monsters on Netflix. And
it was great.
It was great. And I finished it, and I went in my bed. I was like, "They're gonna kill me!" I'm like, and it wasn't
You're a scaredy cat.
Yeah, it wasn't like grown up Lyle and Eric. It was like them from when they were. I'm like, these kids are gonna come. They were stuck as kids in my brain, which was really dumb.
Yeah,
I don't get that. But the podcast that I listen to, I love Tim Dillon.
Oh, okay.
I think he's great. He's just a brilliant podcaster. He has that. Impromptu skill, and he's a very smart guy, and he's interested in the things that I'm interested in, whether it be politically or whatever.
Right.
So he's a guy who I love because it's a comedy. I like to learn on the podcast, but I don't want it to be like I'm never going to sit there and watch Andrew Huberman and take notes about that's not what I'm going to do. I want to be entertained if I'm doing this. It's a long time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not really I have a ton of respect for Joe Rogan. I don't listen to his podcast a lot.
Yeah.
There's a clip every now and again.
He is a nut.
Yeah, of course he is. But I'm a nut. Everybody's a nut.
I mean, I am too, but I don't know. I'm so curious what he would be like in person. I wonder if he's because I feel like a lot of them kiss his ass. So I wonder now if he expects that, or if he likes when someone kind of steps out of it, and you know what I mean? Because there's some people. I had a boss in Chicago at a salon who made everybody cry except me, and he really fucking respected me because I would tell him "fuck you" when he was being out of line, And so sometimes people like that do appreciate that, and I just wonder, all right.
I think it's very hard not to change a little when you're that hyper successful. The guy's had the number one, podcast or whatever it is for a long time. And he deserves that. I think he's I'm a comic and I want people to treat me honestly, the way you're saying. And I think because he tells people to do that, he thinks they're being honest with him all the time.
See.
But the truth is we know comics who let it rip on everybody.
Right.
Who only one they hold back with is Rogan.
That's true.
And the truth, look, would I love to be on his podcast? I mean, yeah, that would be amazing for any of us. That would be an incredible opportunity. And he is a legend in the world of podcasting. Is he the greatest stand-up comedian in the world? No, but I don't think he would tell you that.
Yeah, no,
but he has how many Netflix specials, and I have,
But
do
you know
open
what?
mics at the Comedy Boulevard.
So
like,
fucking what? That's one. You've only been doing it a year and a half, so
Right.
what the fuck ever about that? You shouldn't compare the two careers right now.
but he has been funny. He has been very funny.
Okay, but you know, I know a lot of people that have been funny.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard to.
Here's
make
my thing.
millions of
I
dollars
guess
and stay funny.
100%. Like, I think he has humor. I think he has a sense of humor, but and obviously it's all objective. You know what I mean? Like, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So is comedy, kind of. And for me, I really I love like Bill Burr.
Yeah, he's
And
fantastic.
He's great. And I do really like Dave Chappelle. I just feel like they're more intelligent.
Yeah,
And I like smart, witty, clever comedy.
They're at a different level than he is, and I think he
Yeah.
would agree with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at a different. I mean, I was talking with my buddy Nick Dervasula about this.
Oh, yeah, I know Nick. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's cool.
a really good buddy of mine, and yeah, Bill Burr's top 10 all the time.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
I love him. He reminds me of my dad a little bit, honestly. 'Cause my dad will go on rants like that. He's super funny.
Mm-hmm.
Dad is fucking funny.
Yeah, and you're right. You got to be smart to do comedy well. We all do that thing where we're like, I'm just a dumb idiot, and it gives you license to say whatever it is you want to say.
Right.
No one who's any good at it is dumb.
No, I think you're totally right about that. Yeah, whether it be, intelligence or book smart or street smart, whatever, you're smart.
Yeah. You should want to learn.
Yeah.
You should be curious. If you're good at this, you should be curious. Why is that the way it is?
That's so
You're
funny
asking
because
why a lot.
I told someone that one day. It was some random guy that was standing outside an open mic, and we were talking or whatever, and I told him, well, you have to be curious about being funny. You have to be curious about comedy. And he was like, I really like that. It was some, not a guy who was going to the open mic, a random dude on the street. So he was all, I don't know. I was like, yeah, that's true. You do have to stay curious. I also think staying curious keeps you young.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah. And that's what I think Joe Rogan has. I think he's very curious.
I think that's true.
I also think he's a blank slate, and he's willing to let people talk. He doesn't really interrupt people. He lets them get out what they want to get out.
That's true.
So it creates for an environment as a third party, as a viewer, where you're getting the most information out of this scientist or comedian or whatever. I do think he's very curious. But, yeah, does he say things I disagree with? Yes. Do I say things that I look back on and go, that was incredibly stupid? Yeah, it happened to me this week.
What?
Just with the Obama administration could have solidified Roe v. Wade, and I was wrong about that.
Right.
And you go, and I sit there and I think to myself, if I had a podcast that was broadcast to millions of people, there's no taking that back.
Right.
There's people who watched me once and are now telling everybody, yeah, he could have done it. It's like, and I gave him wrong information.
Right. Totally.
So it's a hard job.
It is a hard job. Okay. I already asked you what kind of teen you were. Quiet-ish. Oh, so you weren't a partier. I did, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd not like drugs necessarily. I'm still not because I'm better than drugs, but because I'm afraid of drugs.
Okay.
But yeah, I like drinking. I've stopped.
That's
drinking.
what I thought. You're sober.
Yeah, I've stopped.
Okay.
But
a break or you're done?
I'm trying to stop. The issue is I do feel like I'm a better person on a little bit of alcohol.
Okay.
I think it loosens me up.
Sure.
And it's a fun time. I love the way it makes me feel. I don't like what it does to my health. I don't like I'm pretty good on the decision. I'm not like a sloppy, I could be 10 shots in and you would go, is he sober? I don't know.
Oh.
That type of guy.
Lucky.
Which, there's the issue is now you can drink more, which now it's doing more damage to your body.
That's true.
Because you're not,
That's true.
But it's my drug of choice. I think it's really a fun time.
Yeah.
But I like feeling good more.
Okay. Right. Physically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a big drinker. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of terrible fucking nights where I did a lot of it was a lot of bad decision making, I think. But most of the time when I would get drunk, I would just get more like, let's keep going, like dancing or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
No, it lowers your inhibitions. It's incredibly fun. If I could, seriously, if I could do it every day with no repercussions, I would do it every day. I was that productive on it. But I would do it more than people thought I would do it. And it's just, I started feeling crummy. Yeah. It made it like not even just hangovers, but like my overall health was just crummier.
See, for me, it would be my anxiety level. Like the next day, like if I was hungover, I would have like massive anxiety. Like I couldn't fucking.
You stopped?
I took a 3-year break from the time I was 27 till I was 30. I just like, well, it was because I had a seizure. Like I'm epileptic, but it had been a long time since I had had one. And then I ended up having one. And the thing is like, so I was at the salon in Chicago. This was 10 years ago.
It was at work.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll make you stop.
And, right. And so I was there and I'm talking to the receptionist. And I'm telling her about my night before. And all of a sudden I looked at her and I don't know how I knew, because that's not usually a thing, but I just had that weird aura. And I looked at her, I was like, I'm going to have a seizure. And she's like, what the fuck? And I was like, don't let me hit my head, call an ambulance, call my dad. And I go into my grand mall, whatever. And it took like a half an hour for the ambulance to get there. And in that time, when you're having a seizure, like it's a couple minutes. And when you come out of it, you're not there. You're in a blackout state. So you lose time. And apparently in that time, like I was like, I'm sorry. And I'd like makeup all over my face. And when the EMT showed up, apparently I turned to my friend Phoenix and I was like, how do I look? And he was like, great. And I looked at the EMT and I'm like, you're really cute. And I was like, what? I'm like, I hit on someone in a fucking like post-seizure episode or whatever. But when I went to the hospital, the doctor was like, oh, what did you do last night? And I was like, can my parents leave the room? And my parents were like, what the fuck did you do? But I went out drinking. I was like, well, I had like, 8 drinks, which wasn't a lot for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean beers, okay? Yeah. So I was like, I had like 8 drinks.
Chicago. I mean, that's like
it's a drinking city.
It's insane.
It's a party city. A lot of people don't know, but we party. So I went out drinking. And then I was like, and then I got into a fist fight on the street. I was like, and then I went to another bar and did some shots. I go, and then I ran into some homies, climbed a rooftop to do graffiti. And then I went home, slept 2 hours, and went to work. And my mom was like, it's fucking Wednesday. But that was typical. Like, really? Yeah. So that was the day I was like, I need to stop. And I just stopped for 3 years.
Wow. And now you have complete and utter control over it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't get fucked up. Like, I like to catch a buzz and I ride it out with a little bit of weed and I'm cool.
Yeah.
I just want to loosen up a little.
There is an insane, bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
There's an insane number of comics who are epileptic.
Really?
A crazy number. A crazy percentage of comedians are epileptic. In fact, one of my very best friends, who is the greatest comedy mind I've ever met in my life, just brilliant, is epileptic.
What's his name?
Hank Gowdy. Hopefully he'll come out here and people will meet him. He's like a special person and a special talent. Like, to where you spend time around him, you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing it. Like, he's that incredibly talented, but he's epileptic and he would have like seizures weekly at school. And from what I understand, alcohol, when you're drinking, you're not going to have a seizure.
No.
But when you stop drinking, if you don't have GABA and all those things, now it increases. But if you stay drunk, you're going to have a seizure.
No, you're not. It's a downer. It's a depressive. So you're like, but it's the aftermath when you're not fucking drunk. And my body, that's the thing, is that I wasn't an alcoholic. Like, if I didn't drink, I didn't get the shakes. I wasn't like, oh my God, I need a drink at all. It was social, but I was just out all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're very,
So my body, like my brain isn't necessarily dependent, but my body definitely felt it a little bit, I think, Till the end when I got really anxious. Plus, I was like, I remember I was on the public trans on the bus and I was like, oh, and I was super kind of drunk still, going to work. And there was a trash can at the back of the bus. Or no, I get off the bus and I ended up throwing up in a trash can just with a bus full of people watching. And I was just like, what are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? It was kind of funny. It was funny shit because I was like 24. You know, you're young. Who cares?
Yeah. But the anxiety is one of the main reasons why I'm stopping. I went to Austin a couple months ago, and Dallas. And
I was just there.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that. It's an interesting town. But I was doing Austin things. I had, kind of a bender for 5 days. It was fun. It was a blast. But when I was on that plane on the way back, I had a panic attack like I cannot even describe.
And on a plane.
For hours. It wasn't like 20-minute panic. No, this was like a day's worth of the most insane fucking panic attack. I went to work. I was like, I'm not like a drug, but I'm like, I need a Xanax. Like I'm going to I'm freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, like I need something to bring me down.
Anyone who's experienced an insane panic attack knows it is the worst thing on earth. I would not wish that on anyone other than like severe pain. Yeah. Like bleeding out maybe is worse. A fucking crazy panic attack where your brain...
It's crippling.
Oh my God, dude. That'll make you want to go, whatever made this happen, I will never do it again.
100%.
And
100%.
And I started getting, not at that level, but I started feeling that, and you're like, fuck this, dude. I got to figure something out because I can't live like this.
Yeah.
Especially as a comedian, with the amount of stress that we have. And if
I
you
don't
really
need
want to
any
do this,
avid.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, no, dude. I agree with you. It really did induce a lot of anxiety. I was just like, I can't. And that was when I was younger. So now, like you said, now that I have started stand-up, there's no way I could do it.
Yeah.
That anxiety would fucking cripple me. Because I already have anxiety when I go on stage. Like, I'm already like, once I'm up there, it goes away because it's like, well, you're fucking up here.
You're
so
channeling that energy into...
Yeah.
Yes.
But I do need to work on connecting with an audience. Like, I connect with everyone, but as one. Like, I picture them as one fucking person I'm having a conversation with, rather than the individuals where I can see someone's not laughing or catch someone who is laughing and connect individually. I need to work on that.
Well, the fact that you're able to notice that's the number one thing. If you can address it, then you can fix it.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm still in my head.
Well, we're still brand new,
Yeah, I don't know. But it's funny how many people I've met that, I don't know, they haven't been doing it that long, but they just seem so sure, Like, I'm sure I found the thing I'm supposed to do now. Like, I'm sure of it. But I got to work on that confidence.
Yeah. We all do, it takes time.
Okay, so let's talk about Austin. You brought it up.
Yeah, I don't want to move there.
Neither do I.
At all.
Neither do I.
No.
I went to check it out. I went to sign up for Kill Tony. And, it's cute. It's small.
It's incredibly small.
It's tiny.
Yes.
And I never heard the word it said so many fucking times on the street. So I was like, I don't know.
And it's like, whatever. Whatever. But I gotta be honest, like, a lot of great comedians have moved there who are already established. But I think there should be friction with comedy. Like, I think someone like me coming up in Los Angeles is actually a good thing because you have to be very clever. If I want to say something that most of these people in the Silver Lake show aren't going to agree with on at face value, I have to be very, very clever to get them to go, oh, he does have a point.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you're saying it.
Right. Like, yeah. That's a real skill that you have to hone. If I was in Austin,
you can literally let it fly.
They're like, just say exactly what we agree with and we'll like it. And I don't think that's good.
That's true. It's a lot of pandering.
Yeah, I don't think that's good for a comedian.
No, I don't think so either. And you're right. I've noticed that too. Because I watch Kill Tony every Monday and I see the comics that go up there and stuff. And it is a lot of the same material or it's a lot of the same, I think.
Right.
And it is because they're in Texas. They're in Austin. They're going to pander to that Kill Tony audience. But I don't know. Oh, while I was there though, so I signed up and you're at the bar Poor Choices across the street. And there's like 180 comics hanging out. And it's like cool energy because like when someone's name gets called, everyone gets like, yeah, like everyone's excited for each other, which is cool. But while I was there, check this out. While I was there, this woman was signing up, an older woman, and I immediately recognized her because she's been on the show before a few times. And her name's Karen, which is perfect. She was at the insurrection on January 6th and did break into she was in the Capitol.
Oh my God.
And there's video and photos, and she was convicted, bless you. She was convicted and she is currently on house arrest for it. Started a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So check this though. She randomly comes up to me and she was like, you are just so cute and so smiley. She's like, I want to know what your comedy's like. Can we take a picture together? And I was like, okay. So we take this photo, we exchanged info. And I told her, like later when we were messaging each other, I told her, I'm like, Karen, I want to start a podcast and I really want to interview you for it. We'll talk about the insurrection. We'll talk about Kill Tony, your background and upbringing. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm a great conversationalist. I was like, fuck yes. Now, she lives in California 2 hours from here, but she's doing her house arrest in Austin. And I spoke to her yesterday and I was like, listen, Karen, I want to do this in person. I was like, I can get myself to Austin, but I cannot currently afford to stay anywhere. So can I stay with you? I go, I know this is wild as fuck to be asking you, whatever. But she was like, yeah, I don't see any problem with it. We have a guest house. She's like, let me just ask my son if it's okay with him. I was like, okay. So either next Monday or the following, I might hopefully be staying in a MAGA family's home.
Good.
And signing up for Kill Tony.
Good.
An interview again. Yeah, it'll be. I hope it works out. She was really friendly, and I'm very interested in her story.
You're gonna do well with this podcasting thing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
My next guest is Timothy Paul McRae. In a couple days. Yeah, I loved him, and I'm also happy because I'm trying to get different comics on, different people with different backgrounds.
Clearly. But you're not judgmental.
No,
you're not.
Zero. I have zero judgment. Yeah. You know, and it works for me as a hairdresser too, because my boys and girls can tell me anything. I have no judgment, but I don't have room for it. I really don't. Like, I don't have skeletons in the closet because they're just out there, which is why I don't have the room for it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Judgment's it's such a waste of fucking time, honestly. Like, if I'm not into something, I'm not into it. Whatever.
I'm just so used to the people out here, just growing up here, and coming back. People who are not from here, who create the culture that is Los Angeles, can be very judgmental.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, in Silver, like, this is what we've always stood for. It's like, you've been here 2 weeks.
Yeah, relax.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. You know what's funny about that is one comic told me, he was like, the thing about you, which I love when people start a comment like that. He was like, the thing about you is you're just really honest, and LA doesn't like that kind of honesty. And I was like, I don't know what to do with that. Because
I think comedy. I think that's what you do with that.
Right. But he meant as a comic, I'm very honest, and LA doesn't like that kind. And I was like, I don't know what to do with that because that's just a trait that I can't get rid of. Like, yeah, I say shit, but like I don't know. Anyway, but I don't get like the honesty thing. Like, it's just silly to me when people aren't, because I feel like a lot of miscommunications or problems occur in any type of relationship, friendship, workship, whatever. It's always because of what someone is not saying. Everyone leaves out that one thing that will make or break the situation, because they're not ready to make or break it, really.
I know, I agree. And even though I talk about how honest I am, that's a problem I have, particularly in relationships. Yeah. Where something becomes bigger because I never brought it up. And now all of a sudden it's something that it should have never been. Well,
I tell guys and girls, like any advice I give about dating, it goes to both people, or guys, girls, and others. And the thing is, like, when you're not, okay, so let's say a guy does something that bothers me. and I don't say anything and I let it go. Okay. But when you keep letting it go and keep letting it go and suddenly you say something, he's going to be like, what the fuck? You're crazy. Where the fuck is this coming from? And guys too, like, just let me know, because if it's not a big fucking deal, I'm going to adjust to it. And if it is a big deal, then we're not supposed to be here. You know, like, just fucking tell me.
I agree. But it takes courage to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that courage to ruffle feathers.
Which is why I'm single, because everyone's a scaredy cat.
Yeah, I guess.
A little bit.
I have female friends who are a lot like you. And like stand-up is like a, you know, I don't want to say masculine, but like you're commanding a room. You're very like...
Yeah, well, it is male dominated. It just is.
Really, right. It just, you know.
Yeah.
It is. So I know a lot of women who are like very smart, like yourself, very quick, very like, you know, strong-willed, you know what you want, you know, all those things. It's not even LA. I think it's just a tough thing for women who are like that, because so many men don't, I don't know if it's they don't want to be challenged. You know, maybe some do, maybe some, but I think it can be a little intimidating. Right. To some men.
See, and I've been told that I am intimidating, but I don't.
Not to like I typically like women who are like that.
Right.
Because I'm a little slower to talk and stuff like that. That's why I always like someone who's going to tell the waiter the order's wrong.
Right. Yeah, the balance.
You know?
Yeah.
But most guys are like, I'm a dude, you know, I want a chick who's just going to do what I say. I don't know. You know, so it's just a smaller pool per se.
Yeah. It is. It's a smaller pool, dude.
I tell people like you to go to like New York or something.
That's just it. Okay, so I've been toying with the idea of like going back to Chicago now that I've started stand-up, because it is a comedy town. It's more improv, honestly, but like it is a comedy town. I grew up there. I am definitely more on that wavelength. New York, I should have lived there when I was younger. I could never do it now because everyone's on top of each other. I don't want to deal with the rats in the road. I just, now I couldn't do it. Especially because you have to have, I mean, it's more expensive than LA. What the fuck, you know? The opportunity is there for sure. But here's the thing about LA is, one, I just don't feel like I'm done here. Like there's something or someone that I haven't met or done yet that I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Like something.
And I'm not, I'm not a big proponent of going to a different city. Like I think the problems you got wherever, and this isn't your problem, but I'm saying just in general, like they're going to follow you.
Yeah, wherever you are, there you are.
Certain places that, you know, if you have a certain plant, it's not going to grow in a certain environment and it will somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to figure out with LA is it going to grow here? Because I like the fact that when people tell me like, oh, you're not really like other people here, or oh, you're just too on whatever the fuck it is, it's like, well, I'm kind of glad I don't blend in sometimes, right? Like that can be good, but it can also be bad. So I'm trying to figure out, is it good or bad right now, you know?
Right.
Because the thing is that I feel like I don't know. I don't have like a reputation, but you know, Everett sometimes be like, you're just too punk rock, you know, and I don't mean to be whatsoever. I've tried so hard to like be softer and nicer.
But be what's natural to you.
You're right.
If you were an asshole, I'd say switch it up. You're not at all. So you don't have to. It's just.
Well, it's because I was banned from Deaf Noodles that I got this weird rep because.
What happened?
I'll tell you. Yeah. So I'd only been doing stand-up at that point for like 4 months, maybe less. And they were doing these classes every Saturday with Doug Fager, who I love, by the way. Doug is great. And he was holding these drop-in classes that were like $10. And I was like, oh, great deal. Because you don't have to like have this commitment. Come when you can kind of thing. So I did that and it was great. And about a month into taking these classes, hold on a second, sorry. Okay. So a month into taking these classes, on this Saturday, he goes, all right. And there was like maybe 7 of us in class. He's like, I don't want anyone to try to be funny today. I want us to do act outs. I want people to get past any kind of fear or embarrassment of doing something on stage. So I'm going to prompt you into a situation and you're going to act it out. And I was excited about this because I want to be goofier, but I'm just like not a goofy person, you know, but I want to be, you know, because it adds to everything. And so I was excited about it. And I had brought my little dog, he's not here, with me, Killer Mike. And he's the cutest fucking dog ever, dude. Like, severe underbite. He's so cool. Yeah. But anyway, so I was the last one to go up. And everybody before me, he was like putting them in more serious situation. Like, you just lost your job and like so-and-so just died, whatever. And some people had been trying to cry. So when I go on stage, he immediately is like, Ceci, can you cry? And I was like, I mean, I'll try, you know? And so he's like, all right, well, you're a cook at a restaurant. You work at a restaurant. And you just got a phone call that your dog was hit by a bus and died. And he told me, I want you at 10. So I go fully into it. And I start bawling, like real tears.
Wow,
and in my head, I was like, what the fuck? How is this happening? Full blown tears. Everyone in class is like, holy shit. And then he goes, okay, now your boss is yelling at you to get back to work. Like, make another Reuben, blah, 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 blah. So now you're really angry. So there was a small stool next to me on the stage and I knocked over the mic stand. And I was like, fuck this job. I quit. And then he was like, okay, cut. Like, no more throwing shit, you know, whatever. And I was like, all right. And I pick everything up, gives me the notes, we move on. A couple hours later, I texted him and I was like, hey, quick question about my set. And also, I won't throw furniture anymore. Tell Def I'm sorry. And he was like, no, you're all good. I was like, cool. He's like, yeah, he heard it, wasn't too happy, but we're cool. 2 days later, I get a message from Def saying that I am banned for my behavior in class. And they sent me security footage of myself to shame me. He was like, you're a danger and a liability to everybody here.
Huh.
And he prefaced it by saying, I know this was an acting class. So what the fuck? That's not my behavior.
Yeah.
You told me to go to a 10. You told me to cry. Like, and Doug, I messaged him and I was like, dude, I was just banned. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, they didn't even ask him about it.
That's a mistake. That's not, yeah.
Yeah. So I begged them not to do it because I was so new that it really rocked my confidence. I was like, oh no, I broke a rule in the community and like, fuck.
No, yeah, that's not, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So then, so I'm a liability, whatever. And then Doug told me, he's like, here's the thing, Cess. He's like, you know, when you walk into a room and then you start talking, he's like, it's just very clear you're from Chicago. I was like, thank you, you know?
Yeah.
So then...
People from Chicago are nice, the ones I met.
Fuck yeah, we are. We're just, okay, real. Yeah. And that's the thing I tell people. I'm like, yes, I am very direct, but I am direct with my positivity, same as negativity. Like, if I think you're great, I'm your cheerleader. I'm going to tell you, you're fucking awesome. You're doing a great job. So if you don't want directness in also, like, yeah, not for you then. Like, right. I'm just going to tell you you're great when you're great. So then, like, maybe... a month and a half later, they messaged me saying like, oh, we've lifted your ban. You can come back. So I waited a couple weeks and I was like, all right, I'm going to go back because like I really liked the comedians I met there and stuff. So I go back and Jackson Britt was there and he was like, hey, it's good to see you. Like, I heard about your ban. And he was asking me about it. So I was like, well, I don't want to talk about it in here. So let's go outside. And so we go outside and I just told him what happened. Like I just told you, not talking shit, that this is just what happened. And then we do the mic. I go home. 2 hours later, Doug calls me and he's like, Ceci, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what the fuck did I do now? You know? And he goes, you know that the security cameras in there have microphones in them. And I was like, okay. And he's like, were you talking shit? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Jackson asked me a question and we went outside to talk about it. He's like, yeah, they have them outside too. And I was like, so somebody spied on me, listened in on the conversation and called you to tell you to check me.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's insane.
That's insane. Yeah,
that's insane.
Well, the place isn't.
And he said, oh yeah, they sent the footage and audio to me. And they're also like sending it to what the fuck? Crazy.
Also, it's like not illegal to talk shit.
No kidding. And I stepped outside I thought to be respectful. And again, I wasn't talking shit. I was just telling them it happened to me. It's my story to tell if I want to. And, then the week later, when I was signing up for mics, he would just take my name off without even telling me. He would just remove me from the lists.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, So that was that.
That sucks, especially that early.
Well, Frank, I love D. Him and Doug immediately, like, we'll go to other mics with you. Like, because they knew, like, that it shook me. And D was like, yeah, if that happened to me this early on, like, I would be really fucked up. So it was nice. Like, People were nice.
There's a comic who I used to see at Deaf Noodles, who is so funny. Something Duncan?
Mike Duncan.
Mike Duncan. So funny.
Mike's great.
And he's this like country looking white dude, and he's gay, and it's amazing.
Yeah, he's bisexual, and he is. He's funny. I love Mike. He's great. He's good people. I just saw him maybe a few weeks ago.
And he's weird, and you're like, this is
kind of awkward.
You don't expect it. No, so I always enjoy watching him.
Yeah, he's good. Oh, that's the thing too. Like there were some really good comics at Deaf Noodles. Like he could have really had a successful little spot, but he went fucking nuts and was spying on people and doing crazy shit. Like not even just to me.
That was a trend. That was a thing that was happening.
I don't know about the spying on people thing, but he was fucking over a lot of people.
Gotcha.
With money and stuff.
Yeah.
So
he was. I had known him just doing the podcasts. He was always cool to me, but maybe other people had issues, and I didn't know him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're never gonna have like the same relationship with somebody necessarily because we vibe differently. But what sucked about that is like maybe a couple weeks before my band, I went to him and I said, dude, I really love your club. Thank you so much. Like it kind of saved me. And then I get banned and I was like, what the fuck? I literally just told you how, like, what? But, whatever. What the fuck are you going to do?
Well, it's over now.
It really, well, for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know. It's like, people are going to watch this and be like, she's a cunt. But like, because I'm honest.
No, I don't think anything you said. I would feel, my heart would, if I would have gotten a call and it's like, hey, they were recording you and listening, my heart would have jumped and I would have felt like shit.
Oh, yeah. I didn't give a shit at all. I was like, are you fucking nuts?
Yeah.
No, that was just, right then I was like, oh, now I really don't care.
Right.
Now I just don't care. And if I, like, it is what it is, But what the fuck ever.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're not malicious at all. So I don't.
And I really try not to be. Like, I know I can come off a little, but it's not in a malicious way.
It's not a corporate job. This is comedians. We should have that. That always surprises me when you do the comedy world and you say something or do something and they're like, that really hurt my feelings.
Right.
Do you remember what we're doing right now?
That's just it. Like, I'll be like roasting people, but like, it's in a conversation. We're just being witty and funny and I go with it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck. I crossed the line.
And we're all sensitive.
Yeah.
But
I am a little bit in the way that like recently a comic, I don't know how he said it, but something like that he said like, oh, that I'm kind of sensitive in the way that he's like, yeah, like sometimes he'd be like, why didn't you text me about the mic? Whatever. And he's like, and I'll think, well, like the last time we hung out, you like roasted me. And I'm like, am I a bitch? Do you think I'm a bitch? Like, no. I'm not trying to be.
No, but I have really good friends in comedy who, the way that I view love in this is like if I watched your set intently and was like, hey, love this, here's a note on this. And maybe I'm wrong, but it's just, I'm showing you that I care for you because I'm watching and trying to make you better.
Right.
Some people love it. Some people think that is you putting them down.
Right.
It's not. That's the opposite. That's me. If I thought you sucked and there was no future for you,
I wouldn't be talking about it.
I wouldn't say anything.
Right. That's totally true. That's how I feel too. Like if I don't fuck with you, then I don't fuck with you. I don't bother.
I'm not going to put any energy into helping you. Just the same way I would hope you would in a nice way. Yeah. Don't be an asshole, but like in a nice way. Hey, you ever thought about this? Maybe this, like, we're all a season of taste and we're trying it out and seeing if it works. So.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so are you okay for time?
Yeah, I think for the most part.
It's 8:00.
It's 8:00. Yeah, probably in the next 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask though? What is like? Do you have a current obsession right now?
I mean, I am obsessed with NFL football. That's like my favorite thing on earth. I don't think that's like, my strange addiction. I eat toilet paper.
No, right.
There's a lot of guys out there who have the same obsession.
That's why I said current, because it changes.
No, the watching football on Sundays is literally my favorite thing on earth, including like stand-up's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm very thankful. But like watching the NFL, if I could do what the Barstool Big Cat does, he's a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing ever. Mm-hmm. Like, that would be so, and every guy wants to do that, right? I could fucking talk about sports. Like, and they're very talented, the guys who do that. But yeah, I just, it's like sickening how much I love it. Fantasy football, all that
Are
shit.
you in a league?
Oh, yeah, I'm in 3.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
No, it's like embarrassing how much I love football.
Yeah. No, but it's fun. I like competition, right? Like, I like sports. I like competition. I don't know. I get that. I get it.
Do you have an obsession?
A current obsession? Oh, puzzles.
See, I was going to ask you about this. You could not pay me to put 2 pieces together.
Oh my God,
this is such an insane thing that people enjoy doing this. It doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at the size of this and the size of the pieces, and I'm like...
and they're great because they're like weirdly shaped. They're not like your typical.
This is like crazy to go. What is the match? Like, that's great. Insane. And you finish them.
Yeah. Oh, I have underneath the couch. I have 4 stacked right now that are complete. That I want to what I want to do with them eventually is do the hodgepodge or whatever Mod Podge over it, so it's like it can't break, and then stack them like records, so you can just look through them.
Oh, that's a great idea. Like a transparent kind of wax or something.
Yeah, exactly. My guy Justin, my neighbor, he comes over every night. We work on it.
You're not like one of those Buddhist monks who like breaks it up.
No.
You ever seen those? When I was a kid in school, we had a Buddhist monk come with like this bunch of sand. It was like 3, we had regular sand, like orange sand, blue sand, or whatever. And he spent a month at our school putting this into this beautiful design like you've never seen before, made out of sand.
Yeah.
Like a month every day. And we're like, this is amazing.
Right.
And then at the end, he just put his hand in the middle. I was like, fuck this, dude.
Yeah.
No.
That's just it. Yeah, I'm like, I cannot break them up. Especially because I'm buying ones that are like cool to look at. So I'm like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. No fucking way.
No, this isn't.
What is this?
This is 1980s.
Oh, so it's just things.
Yeah, it's like a collage of shit
That's
from the
super
80s. Yeah, and then I did the 90s, and I have one that I'm going to frame and put on the wall. Because this wall, everything has to have pink in it. So I have this massive pink Frida Kahlo poster or puzzle.
Is this pink?
Well, pops of pink,
That's
in the picture.
I'm colorblind, so I don't know.
You're colorblind?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's
Oh.
another reason why puzzles I don't like. But
This is pink, this is dark blue, and the specks are gold.
okay, and then this is pink too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that is gold. I don't know if you can
Did
see.
you put this wallpaper up?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was trying to separate the rooms so they would feel more separate. So I
Very
was
cool.
like,
That is not decorating is not a skill that I have.
well, if you need help.
Yeah,
Clever.
I might. Yeah, I'm white wall guy. In college, like not anything, not a American flag, not a poster, like prison cell.
Oh,
You were like,
God.
what the fuck's wrong? I'm
You
like,
could just call him minimalist.
I don't need. Yeah, I'm like, I don't. What am I gonna? This is where I sleep. This
This is where I sleep.
is the watering hole. I don't need anything on the wall.
I get
You're
it.
you're
I
a
get it.
psycho, dude.
I know. Most of the guys I think I fuck with are like that. Like I go into a guy's apartment, I'm like, what the fuck?
Just nothing.
There's
Just-
no character, but whatever.
I want to. I'd want like paintings and stuff, but I don't know what looks good. And the color thing always fucks me up.
Oh
I
yeah,
always put the
because you're
wrong color
fucking
with the thing.
colorblind.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. Cole.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is Ceci for the Velvet Elvis podcast. This was Cole Klayman with us today. Say bye, Cole.
Bye, guys.
It was great. Thanks.
Stay safe.